for threatened peoples. Is that group?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Mongolians were never a minority in their own land north of the Great Wall. However, this began to change in 1949 when the Chinese regime took control of the region and launched a settler colonial project. Over seven decades of genocide, ethnic cleansing...
Sorry, Speaker, we have a point of order from China.
主席女士，中方不得不对刚刚这位所谓非政府组织成员行使程序性动议。该名人员在发言中所使用的措辞，鼓吹分裂主义，侵犯了中国的主权和领土完整，严重违反了联合国宪章的宗旨和原则。主席不应允许这名代表继续发言。谢谢。
Thank you very much. Speaker, can you please bear in mind the very explicit remarks that have been made by China, and I ask you to follow, I will come to you, Iran, I ask you to follow the protocols that I've already asked all of you to follow during this session and during every other session, the UN protocols. I appreciate your concerns, I appreciate the difficulty in doing so, but I think it's in all of our interest to ensure that everybody here can have an opportunity to speak the things that they want to speak about. Iran, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Iran echoes the stance of distinguished delegation of China. It's so regrettable that some NGOs, in spite of a lot of reputation that you are requesting them, are still speaking against the rule of the meeting and violating very basic rules and principles. We request you, Madam Chair, to consider the position of the states. Thank you.
Thank you, Iran. Thank you, China. I am endeavouring to consider the position and the concerns of everybody in the room, and in particular also your own concerns. Speaker, can I ask you to continue, and can I please ask you to bear in mind the comments have been made?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Over 7 decades of genocide, ethnic cleansing, and population transfer, Mongolians have been reduced to an absolute minority in their ancestral homeland. Today, the Chinese government is implementing a new form of genocide, cultural genocide, aimed at the complete eradication of Mongolian language, culture, and identity. Under a newly adopted language policy, the Mongolian language has been completely banned throughout the entire educational system in the region. Textbooks in Mongolian have been replaced with the Chinese language materials, and Mongolian science, publications, and even extracurricular learning of the language have been prohibited. Public campaigns with slogans like "Speak Chinese and become a civilized person" openly promote Chinese supremacy. Enforcing a mass indoctrination program called the Firm Inculcation of the Chinese Nationality Common Identity. The Chinese government is criminalizing Mongolians for expressing their cultural pride, speaking their language, or even wearing their traditional clothing. Communication in Mongolian is prohibited not only in a public life but also in many part of private settings. These systemic policies are compounded by further acts of abuse that highlight the hostile environment faced by the Mongolians. In a recent case, a 9-year-old Mongolian girl was severely beaten by her Chinese teacher for her limited understanding of Chinese and her inability to complete homework in the language. The assault left the girl with a torn ear and severe bleeding.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry, time is up. I move to the Association Adroit the Home at Le Development.